All right, welcome back to another episode of the Pin High Podcast presented by Pin High Media. What are we going to talk about this week? I mean, it's the fall swing. We had the CJ Cup coming up. We just had the Zozo. Keegan Bradley, Masshole took it. So let's get into it.
This is Jordan Spieth here, and
this is the Pin High Podcast.
All right, so let's get inside the ropes. I want to talk about Keegan Bradley for a second. We had him as our alternate pick, I believe, in the pool, the one and done pool, which sucks because me and Jeek really war roomed that one out.
What was it? Did it really come down to like a?
No, it wasn't really a coin
it came
flip.
down. It came down to the fact that we probably wouldn't pick Tommy Fleetwood again this season, and we might pick Keegan Bradley again this season. I think that's where
that was the logic.
That's fair.
But we did say to the listeners, if you're just betting, just throw it out, throw Keegan Bradley out there. So, yeah, I mean, I'd say the war room's going pretty well so far for the listeners.
Yeah, it is a little bit of nonsense coming from, just based on a flow part of the podcast, but we talk through it. We have some good points. We have some bad points, but we usually come through with a decent pick.
And we were just talking about it before the podcast. I watched as much Zozo as I probably could. Saturday night, I remember I was trying, and then I just fell asleep. And it was the final round. I was like, I'm not making it till 3 a.m. And then just the rest of the nights, it was maybe a little bit here and there, Thursday night a little bit. But
what time did it officially end? Do you remember?
I think 2:45 or 3 a.m. on most nights.
Really?
Yeah, I had the Instagram post up a full day later, just because I forgot. Yeah.
But at least the TJ Cup's not in Korea.
Yeah, I was. Was it in South Carolina last year?
No, no. It was either in California or Vegas.
That's what I remember it being in.
I thought it was in South Carolina or was it in South Carolina?
It wasn't at the Congress.
You're right. No, this was the one that Rory and this was Ricky was in this one too last year in Vegas, and Rory ended up winning.
Rory won, yeah. This was Shadow Creek last year, was it?
Yeah. It wasn't at Congaree. Congaree held the Palmetto Championship when that was a tournament for some reason, over COVID, and it wasn't that good of a final leaderboard, but it was an 11 under winning score.
Yep, Hago 11 under.
So Hago winning 11 under over, I believe, Chesson Hadley or something like that.
I think DJ wasn't DJ was in that tournament, or he played well in there.
I thought it was over Chesson Hadley, and Chesson Hadley really choked down the stretch.
And that wouldn't surprise me. I remember the little bit I watched of that. I remember DJ being in it, but also DJ's from South Carolina, so I could have just been associating that.
DJ finished T10. It was Higo and Doc Redman, if you remember. Remember.
Was Hadley somewhere in there?
Hadley was also T2. There was
so that's what it was. Okay, Hadley, I'm pretty sure had the tournament, and
there was a six-way tie for T2. Hadley went 4 over in the final round, and everybody else was under par in the top 20. So
there you go. But anyway, this week should be fun because it's a pretty awesome field, and it's only 74 players. So I'm assuming no cut, right?
I doubt it.
74. No, it's a no cut event. 78 players.
78 players. Yeah.
I think you have 15 of the top 20 in the official World Golf rankings this week, which is nice.
Good field.
I guess before we move into talking about it, though, there actually is some golf news.
There is.
The elevated events got announced.
Yep.
So we got Travelers. We got RBC Heritage, not Canadian.
That was interesting, yeah.
WM and Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
they're basically taking all our events. The Travelers, the RBC.
I was gonna say we
Heritage,
love all these.
those are our
events.
favorite events.
The fifth, sixth, and seventh majors.
Yeah, like literally now. So
if I had to talk about some of my favorite tournaments, I think it literally would be like those 4. Like,
yeah, it's like the first 2 I saw when I saw it this morning was like Travelers and RBC. I'm like, oh my god, like
those are our tournaments.
Yeah, but I did see it's gonna. I think we talked about this too. I think it's gonna change. Yeah. It's gonna change each year, which is I think is very cool. Like I think the waste management should stay multiple years, but like it's like it says like these are not guaranteed to stay the same tournaments the next following years. Which is interesting because like you said, RBC Canadians I feel like is a decently big one. What are a few others? I can't even think of a few others.
Right, the Memorial is the Memorial already
that Memorial's there, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. Already elevated, right?
Yeah.
API is already elevated.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, those are kind of like you'd love for the RBC Canadian probably to be elevated because it's like right before the US Open, but also like the Heritage is right after the Masters. So
yeah.
Or at least, I don't know if that's still how it pans out because like it's changed around a little bit with the COVID.
Do we have a full
schedule?
Yeah,
I think so. I'm looking right.
We've had a full schedule. The PGA Tour came out with it around like a month ago, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the season officially starts for us at the Century Tournament of Champions, of course. January 5th through 8th. So then you're kind of on the regular schedule. So it's Century, Sony, the Amex, the Farmers, the AT&T Bubble Beach, Waste Management Open, Genesis, Honda Classic, Puerto Rico Open, Arnold Palmer, and then the Players, and then it's pretty much the same same as last year at that point.
Yeah, and this article says the elevated events won't be the same in 2024. These events worked with the schedule that had already been announced, so I think the schedule probably will change even more. Like I doubt, like if the RBC is the week after the Masters, I feel like in that for whatever reason stayed an elevated event, I feel like they would move that to maybe like a week and a half, like 2 weeks after the Masters, something like that.
Yeah, make the Zurich the week after the Masters, like
literally,
like just flip the two. But I don't know.
Yeah, but
what other golf news? Didn't Brooks win?
Brooks won the Live.
Any of it.
I'm pretty sure that the peak viewership. Do you any of you guys know it? Don't blurt it out.
I don't know it.
Guess what the peak viewership was on YouTube?
55,000.
What, 25,000?
If I'm not mistaken, it was like 18.
Oh my god!
Where was that tournament being played?
Jeddah.
Yeah, so it was a weird time, right?
But like live golf ratings still suck either way.
I guess.
Yeah, they'd probably be better in when it was with America. But
the PGA Tour was on in Japan, and their ratings are probably like 5 times that or something like that.
The media did a terrible
job. The peak definitely much more.
The media did a terrible job with Live this week because like I kind of knew it was on, but I didn't really know it was on, and I just I heard nothing about it for the entire week until Brooks won. So I don't know.
I didn't even realize
playing so far away, but
it's that point of the year where even in the golf world, just in general, it's kind of like something happened. Like I'm getting ready for like NFL is going on. I'm getting ready for college basketball. Like we have some PGA Tour to talk about, and like this is a good tournament for us. But like even Live, like as far back of my mind as that is, like just the only thing I really knew about it is like the Phil comments last week about like whatever he said, and that I saw a picture of him on his private jet with all his teammates or whatever it was for Live. And that's all I've seen about Live for the past month and a half probably.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough time of year for golf, but I guess moving on. Other news. Did you guys see Jonah Hill is going to play John Daly in like a biopic?
Yeah,
I did. That's going to be that has a lot of potential to be really, really funny, but it also, on the opposite effect, has some potential to be like the Sean Payton, Kevin James story.
Yeah.
But I lean towards it's going to be good and funny.
I hope so.
Because Jonah Hill's just like a hilarious actor.
Yeah.
It's a little different than Kevin James too, for sure.
Yeah, no, it is different.
Which is a good start. But I think it'll be funny and maybe interesting. Who knows?
I wonder if he'll have to get some golf lessons to at least kind of look like he knows how to swing a club.
I don't know, maybe.
Or if they just won't even show that, like
stunt
really
double.
playing.
Just put a fat suit on JT and have him go out there on the range. And it'll stun. Yeah. It's a golf double.
Yeah, golf double. That should be interesting. I haven't heard a lot about the PGA Tour Netflix thing. Like, when's that coming out?
Yeah,
I'm hyped for that.
I want to find that.
It's never mind.
Because they got to come out with it soon. The new season's gonna like start, and then it's gonna lose. It's gonna be like, wow, that's so old. But
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe the spring this year.
I don't.
Yeah, that should be interesting to see when that comes out, because like I saw some producer tweet about it, like the Netflix producer or one of the Netflix producers be like, I try to manage expectations, but this was an interesting year of golf.
Best year they could have done it.
As soon as we have any information about it, I already cannot wait for that to come out.
Yeah,
it'd be so chaotic and so I don't know. I'm just excited.
It'll be interesting to see how they approach it, because the PGA Tour does not have like any creative direction.
No, zero.
So
if you've seen their app, hopefully they have no control over how it's going.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. It'll just be interesting how much they have.
I always bring it back to the F1 series. That's pretty good. So hopefully the PGA Tour one's just as good.
I've never seen the F1 series, but I've heard it's just.
I have no interest in F1. That's just. I'm sure people don't have interest in golf.
I literally had no interest in F1 either. I just started watching the series and like, oh, it's pretty good.
But now you watch F1, don't you?
Not really. It's too early in the morning for me to watch. But
I feel like I've gotten an F1 snap from you on like a Sunday morning.
Like maybe, I don't know. Maybe when I bet on it, but
anyway, let's talk about the CJ Cup again. Like we said, really good field. We have a decision to make because we might end up burning one of a big guy in the pool this week.
Right.
But
really good.
I mean, I think going into the strategy, I think we have to not be worried about burning somebody, because last week that burned us. So
is Keegan Murray a big burn?
Keegan Bradley.
Keegan Murray.
No, it's just
but
we really thought that we would never use Fleetwood again this year, because because he also had good course history there. He's like T2 once, so I was like, it just made sense.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah, that guy's never gonna win a PGA Tour event. But
favorite is Rory, and he's 6.5 to 1, which is just crazy. Ridiculous. I know it's a shortened event.
That's crazy.
Rahm's not far behind at 9 to 1. Scheffler 11, JT, Max, Homa, all 16 to 1, and so on. But are there any numbers right off the bat that kind of stick out to you guys?
I don't know. Kind of just in the top half. I do like Jordan Spieth this week, coming off the hot President's Cup. He's 25 to 1, I think. That would be like a top half type of guy. Same thing with Sungjae M. I like Sungjae M a lot this week, but again, top half of the field type of guy. But
I like Sungjae. I feel like Jordan's someone we kind of still like. Is this like I everything I've seen so far is that like you can hit you have to be good off the tee, which Jordan is like good off the tee, but I feel like this just doesn't. I can't picture Jordan Spieth winning in South Carolina.
Yeah. Do we have our course preview from Congaree available anywhere?
The only thing is, there's not a lot of course history at Congaree. I could look to see
obviously
course preview there, but they only played one tournament there, right? So,
And we probably honestly, when we did that podcast, we probably didn't talk much about the course because we didn't know that was the first time
much about it. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of course history at the course, but I could say I think it's a Tom Fazio design.
It is.
I think pretty challenging like greens, but really wide fairways from what I could tell. There's not really rough, but there is like those little sandy areas along the side, which is like
the waste areas,
yeah, waste areas, which is like such South Carolina golf, as Trev would know. Yeah, so like strokes gain off the tee, like it'll be a factor because the fairways are pretty wide, so like you just really don't want to miss those wide fairways.
Do we know how long it's playing this week?
76-55 par
Okay, so
71.
It's not short.
No, not short at all.
Honestly, like what about
tricky greens? Like approach play is interesting this week.
That's it. That like kind of like it's not as much the sandy part, but like Sam Burns dominated Quail Hollow, like in the Carolinas, long golf course. Like he didn't win his matches, but he dominated the week, and tricky greens, like kind of, and really fast greens, like on Bermuda grass. Like I don't know, that seems like someone that could be in the top half. I know it's
also
wouldn't want to waste a pick on, but like
well, we already did waste a pick on.
We already did waste a pick on Sam Burns.
Yeah,
it kind of screams Scotty to me as well.
Yeah, I do like Scotty. I just don't know. Like, there's so many good players in the field this week that it's like, you can't really go wrong picking any of them. But then, like, if they have a bad week, like you look dumb. But
screams Aaron Wise a little bit.
I thought about Aaron Wise. Aaron Wise stood out to me too.
Yeah, I think putting's gonna be like the last. Like, just like by looking at this, like putting's probably the last category that we have to.
I think if there's a tiebreaker,
because if they're gonna be faster greens, like PGA Tour players are better on faster greens than slower greens. It's just like proven fact. So,
that also does kind of scream Jordan Spieth though, the fast greens.
And like his short game's been really good, Jordan Spieth. Like he's found his old short game form, I think, over the last however many events he's played. So I don't know. Like I do like Jordan Spieth, but again, seeing Jordan Spieth win in South Carolina is not necessarily something I have my eye.
Yeah, it's
he did win the RBC Heritage.
I was gonna say he won there.
Oh, that's true.
He did. But like I guess at this golf course,
very different golf.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see. What about some guys that are like a little lower down? Just looking lower down.
Isn't Emiliano Grillo like one of like the hottest guys on tour right now? I mean, also sorry to just throw another name out there, but like Sepp Straka, he's a bomber. Like he's a ball striker too.
Sepp Straka,
lower.
What about Cam Davis? Played well at Quail Hollow, T29 last week.
Are we comparing it to Quail Hollow?
I'm on Data Golf's course fit tool, which I don't know, like it's Quail Hollow's #1 similarity score on that.
So one who
like it's a lot of driving distance.
Max Homa loves Quail Hollow.
What?
Max Homa loves Quail Hollow.
Max Homa does love Quail Hollow.
I feel like this is not a Max Homa. Like we can't burn him for this tournament. We got.
No, I think we should burn him for Quail Hollow.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You have to burn him for one of his.
Like that's chalky, but like he has 2 wins at Wells Fargo, 2 wins at Fortinet, and Riviera.
What about like Matt Fitzpatrick? Like his newfound length, good approach game, really good short game. Like he kind of fits pretty well.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
That's a good point. Is he taking a decent amount of time off?
I think he's been playing in Europe. So he's played the fall in Europe. I don't think he's in great form, but
no, he hasn't played like
he's good. He's been in good form in the US though. Like for some reason the US course fits are just like better than the European ones at this point in his career. I guess that's how he's tooled.
He finished second at the Italian Open last month. T22 at the Dunhill Links Championship, and then got cut last week.
Where? Spain?
Australia, the same the tournament Rom won.
Yeah, Spain. It's like the Spanish
Yeah,
Masters.
Australia, damn,
Sure.
a lot of Spanish folks.
Like the Spanish Masters, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know. Coming off of a cut, maybe that's a little under the radar. I know he's like 24-1, like on books.
Didn't have a great approach game last week, but
it's still
yeah, I think. What were his finishes at Quail
That's pretty crazy. In all of these fields in the fall, and in this one, Taylor Montgomery, the guy who graduated from Corn Ferry Tour, he's just way up there. He's 45-1. He's over like Keegan, Sahith, Corey, Connors, like Zadenhout, like Hoagie, Davis, Henley, like he's Pereira. He's ahead of all these guys. And he's been like that all through the fall. I know he's been playing well too, but it's crazy. I don't know. I'm not saying that's who I want to pick. I'm just saying.
I don't. It feels like it's a lot of driving distance.
Which I mean, yes, that speaks to Rory, and but we just can't burn Rory right now. I feel like.
No, we can't. I don't think we can.
And also, if you're out there and you want to put a future down, I don't know how much value there is in Rory. 6.5-1.
I agree.
So I'm going.
I'd rather Rory win, than I when you sit that one out.
So I've gone back to.
I kind of like Cam Davis, if I'm being honest, but as a little more, how far is he down the board?
Here's the thing: it's just I don't love putting guys like that. Not that he's bad, by any means, but in no cut events, it's tough to pick guys that aren't at the upper echelon.
I completely agree, and I think he's if someone wants to take a flyer on him, I wouldn't blame them. But you're right. This is much better field than a lot of tournaments. Cam Young is in
Victor's coming off a good finish.
Victor, yeah.
Although he's coming from Japan.
Yeah, but how much do we want to take that into account?
At least a little bit.
A little bit of a jet lag.
Again, he's also somebody who, I don't know how much this is. You can spin this however way you want, but say he's coming from Japan, he's a little jet lagged. He's also somebody last year who didn't want to play and he's not a huge fan of the Bay Hill course, but finished T2 there, probably could have won at the end. So it's one of those things where
Victor finished T3. Victor finished T3 at the Wells Fargo last year. Just saying.
I wasn't at Quail Hall though.
No, in 2021.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think Matt Fitzpatrick's played much at Quail Hall. I've been looking at all I found is the 2017 PGA, which is he was a different player back then. So
yeah.
Victor also finished. Victor also was T5 at the BMW PGA Championship back in September.
Who is this?
Victor.
But short game. But what about short game?
Short game is not good.
And I feel like it's gotta be.
You don't need a good short game if you hit the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, I just know there is some tricky little shots coming in here. Approach wise.
What about like you said, Sungjae?
Yeah,
I think those three are all very good options.
Yeah. Sungjae played well at the Shriners and played well. Talk about approach and short game. That's the guy. But
no,
I do like
short game is something you have to
Do you know what's wild? Do you know who leads strokes gained off the tee over the last 24 rounds?
Is it Sungjae?
It's Sungjae.
Oh.
Sungjae, Cameron Young, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy.
He is a CJ athlete.
He is a CJ athlete.
I think he
that might be
any three of those.
Yeah, I like all three of them. Yeah, Sanjay feels
So
good to me.
so we've determined that those are like three of our favorite picks for
Yeah.
just listeners, but we also have to talk about the strategy here with a pool, with a one and done pool. If anybody's playing those, we are. That's why we're doing this.
Mhm.
What, because last week we were like, Fleetwood or whatever, but like, is there any strategy here? Like, is Sungjae a guy you want to save? Do
I
we
think you
just
got to
not
burn
even
somebody
think
this week,
about that?
right?
Well, I think kind of like you said, it's like a better field, especially for the fall series. Like we're not going to use a lot of these guys in the fall series after this week. We're just not.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
And like
We're gonna burn a ton of them going forward. You're right.
Yeah, and like we like if it is a place where it's like a short or a small field, like a good field, and someone who's played really well, I think I think it makes a good amount of sense. But I don't know. You guys have been in the war in the past few weeks, so you would have more experience that.
I think you got to burn somebody here. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
I
way
agree.
you can't. Sanjay's on good form. Like pretty much.
It's the course,
It's the course,
surging off the tee.
and then he
Wait,
has the
so
bonus as being a CJ guy.
do we have any
Yeah.
Sungjae Wells Fargo history? I don't want to like completely rely on that, but just curious.
He was cut in 2021 and T31 in 2019.
I don't know how
That's
much.
kind of it.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't think
and again, that's not like I don't like
take that into account. Yeah.
that. We don't have to completely rely on that. Like, there's also
No. I just
courses
was
that are
curious.
very similar. Let's see.
Let's go around and we'll vote. Jeek, you go first.
I'm Team Sanjay. I think this is a tournament we could burn him for. We could say Fitzpatrick.
I think I'm Team Sungjae too. If I'm being honest.
My opinion doesn't matter then, because I'll just be Team Sungjae since it's 2 out of 3
Yeah.
anyway. So it's Sungjae. Okay, but I think all those options are solid.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be our alternate pick this week? Because our alternate pick might win. So
we just do Hovland or Fitz.
Throw Hovland in there as a wild card. I don't know. Yeah.
Hovland's the wild card.
Yeah. So before we move on to just getting in the clubhouse, let's talk about just one thing, just like who's your out of nowhere pick this week? Because like Keegan Bradley, he was a short field event, and it's not like he's that top guy, but he still is in that medium part of the field where like he won and it wasn't completely surprising. I want to say, for me, it might be Thigala. I wouldn't be completely shocked.
No, I wouldn't be
No.
completely shocked.
Neither
I would love to see him. But
I have a name. I just want to see what his recent form is, because
Corey's not in very good.
No,
We're calling him Corey right now because we're mad at him. Not in very good form.
After the President's Cup, he doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
the guy, my name is not in good form at all. But Brendan Steele, big strokes gain off the tee guy. So I don't know.
Okay.
He's like 150 to 1, by the way.
All right.
I'm gonna stick with Cam Davis.
Kevin Kisner's 150 to 1. I know it's a lengthy course, but he's a South Carolina boy.
Yeah, he's
from Palmetto now.
A lot of guys that toward the bottom.
There.
And with that, let's get in the clubhouse. Because Bob Costas will not be calling the ALCS on TBS.
He'll only be on the pregame show.
Please,
Brian Anderson will be play-by-play with Ron Darling and Jeff Francoeur.
Interesting. Brian Anderson's good.
Yeah.
He's the Brewers guy, isn't he? I think he calls all the Brewers games. which I've watched a lot of Brewers games.
Yeah, why are you watching a lot of Brewers games?
Fiance's dad's a Brewers fan. So we did the Brewers games on a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he is a Brewers play-by-play guy. He's pretty good.
But anything else? Are you guys playing any golf recently? I have not picked up a club since we
played
that thing, Jeek.
Yeah.
I played Friday morning. I was at a wedding in South Carolina, and I played Friday, which is actually, I wish I had. Imagine if it was a week later, I would have been like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go to the Congaree, or go over to Congaree and watch it, because I was down and like probably would have only been an hour away. But played Friday morning, was 1 over par through 16 holes and shot 78. So
how?
I hit in the water on a par 3 and then made a triple on the last hole. They're hitting it, basically shanking my drive, and then just
quiet car ride home.
Yeah, it was. And I was playing. I played with one guy who is used to play at App State, scratch golfer, just disgusting, like absolutely disgusting.
Was he?
He shot.
What did he shoot?
What?
What did he shoot?
I think it's funny because like he shot 2 under in the front, and then I went back through his round, and I'm like, oh, I don't think he played too well in the back, and then I went back through it, and I'm like, oh no, he still shot 35 on the back, I think, or something like that. I think shot 69 or 70.
Wow.
So
he was that good. He
was incredible. A lot of fun to play with, but
good course.
Yeah, I played it a couple of times. It's nice. I hit a 3-wood to 10 feet on one hole, made the putt for eagle, then made birdie in the next hole, and then the next hole was the par 3 I hit in the water on, chunked in the water, and that was it. But it was just fun. I was just happy to get out. I haven't gone out a whole lot, but
yeah,
I got to prep for our Thanksgiving scramble.
Yeah, you gotta get in the form. Yeah.
You don't really need to be in great form to play in a scramble, though. You just need to be able to hit some shots.
You need to hit some shots, but I'll have the luxury of it was cold today down here, but like this weekend's gonna be 75 all weekend, so I'll have the luxury of a few more weeks of nice weather, to say the least.
I'm making my return to Silvermine this weekend. I haven't played there in a while. I haven't played like a full round of golf since our trip, Pat. But
either.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on Saturday. Yeah,
I think
that's where we're at.
I'm planning a trip to Pinehurst potentially at some point.
Ooh,
in like the spring or something. We'll see.
I really want to go to Pinehurst.
It's down the line.
My friend's moving 45 minutes away, so
that's pretty. Where is he moving? 45 minutes away. Fayetteville. Okay, that's like off like 95.
Military.
Oh yeah, of course. I was gonna say like that Pinehurst.
No. Why else would you move there?
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Pinehurst. Yeah. Big Pinehurst guy.
It's not that far from Raleigh, though.
No, it's not. I guess I drove when I went there. I drove from Charlotte, so it was like 2 hours from Charlotte.
Yeah,
but you're right. Yeah, it's probably on the western, or the further eastern part of the state, not western.
But if I go, I'm getting like the same driver cover as you ever.
I don't even use that anymore. I can give it to one of you guys if you want to.
I'd have to play.
I got a South Carolina one now, so I might not have a South
Carolina guy.
Yeah, South Carolina guy.
They beat the Wildcats.
Yeah, we did beat the Wildcats. Don't tell Alex that I'm. I could care less that Levis was out that game.
Yeah,
do not care.
Marquee won.
And I hate Kentucky, and I hate Bob Stoops or Mark Stoops.
Me and Webb were talking about like Syracuse and Clemson, and then he popped in out of nowhere and was like, "I think Kentucky could beat Clemson." We're just like, "Get out of here."
You could tell him I truly I like Welsh, but I truly hate Kentucky. I really hate them. So I was very.
I'll tell him that.
That was college football talk.
That was college football talk. And I think finally I keep saying like, oh, next week's the Butterfield Bermuda, and I'm like, oh no, it's not. I think next week actually is the Butterfield Bermuda.
Let's go.
Is it, Jeek?
You are right. Next week.
All right, I got it this time.
We're
So
gonna
next week will be one where we burn like a random guy, probably.
Yeah,
Like,
we're gonna
Yeah,
dig deep in the
we're
bag
locked
for that
in.
one.
yeah, we're gonna dig deep for that one. But enjoy the CJ Cup, because I don't know if you'll get a very good field for like until late December. So
Yeah.